Hey, listeners, do you know what fashion initiative, plus-size, non-binary queer model Haley Mandel is a primary face of? Listen to the end of this episode and find out the answer.
I'm excited because I think this is a really cool initiative that Healy is a part of.
So, Andre, you remember the music episode we did last week?
Of course.
I forgot somebody, and I'm feeling guilty about it. He's one of my favorite people. Tom Goss.
Someone that could take down David Bowie?
Well, I don't know about that. But I did want to talk about his song Bears, and it has a lot to do with what we're talking about today, which is body image. So, Tom Goss, if any of you listeners are out in your computer, Google him. He's a sexy fella. Like, he's a good-looking guy. Like, stereotypical good-looking, a good physique, all that. I love his song Bears because it talks a lot about how someone's body image doesn't necessarily, to him, doesn't matter. And, it's all about, I think one of the lines is shave off the fur and it's all about what's underneath or something like that, which I think is a very good message, you know what I mean? And it's something that we'll be talking about today, and it's, it's important.
Yeah, definitely. I'll definitely check that out. So Tom Goss, right?
Yeah, Tom Goss. Goss is how you spell his last name. Yeah, super cute. Nice blue eyes.
Awesome. Body image is definitely something that's difficult, I think, for a lot of people. But I know it's something that I still struggle with. How about you, Bruce?
I used to a lot more than I do now. I used to think that, and this is like when I first came out, was exploring the gay community and all that. You go to the gay bar and, you see all these six-packs and all that stuff, and it makes you feel, it kind of ruins your self-confidence, you know what I mean? Because if you're expected to look like that because you're homosexual, then where does that leave everybody else who doesn't look like that?
Yeah, nothing hurts more than, seeing guys just look right through you, right? Because don't recognize you as being something or someone worth paying attention to.
Sure.
It cuts you to the core. It's so painful.
Mm-hmm. But it doesn't really bother me as much anymore. So this might be a long tangent, but stick with me. I've been going to kind of exercising more recently, lifting weights, stuff like that. But it's not necessarily to appear more attractive or anything. It's just for my own self-confidence. It's, I want to feel better about myself. And I think there's probably a difference there. But I think today we're focusing more on the, self-confidence side of it. So I don't think that there's anything wrong with doing what you want to do for your own self-confidence. But if you're getting that confidence from other people by appearing attractive to all these shallow people, then I don't really agree with that.
And that's kind of where I am with my struggle.
Okay.
I'm trying to lose weight, and I'm seeing a dietitian, and she keeps asking me what's my motivation for doing this? And I don't know. I really don't know, because aside from the number on the scale, every other number associated with my health is completely fine. It's very good. I literally just got blood work done at my doctor's, and he said, "You look great." Which is funny. I remember growing up how oftentimes doctors would be so shocked that I would be so healthy despite my size.
Okay.
And I don't know why I want to lose weight, other than to try to find someone and get married eventually. I don't know why I want to lose weight, quite honestly.
Sure.
And it makes it really hurt.
Right. And,
so
I mean,
there's...
How did I get over that? Because I get that, buddy. I was there. Honestly, I just realized that, and this is probably going to sound cliche, and so feel free to ask questions and I'll elaborate. But I just realized that I am somebody's type. You know what I mean? Not everybody looks for the same thing. So get over the rejection and find somebody who is into. There are chubby chasers, you know what I mean? That is a real thing, and it's more common than you would actually think. Have you ever tried to, get into those communities? Do you know what I mean by that?
I mean, I'm on some bigger dating sites, but for the most part, I'm either not big enough, which is interesting in its own situation. And I'm sure we'll come back to it when we talk about beauty standards, but I'm still not wanted. Like, people look at me as like, no, thank you, and keep going. And I've lived all around the country. So it's not like, oh, I'm in Oklahoma and that's a problem. I didn't have my first boyfriend until I moved to Oklahoma. I've lived in 6 states and abroad, and it's kind of the same story everywhere I go. There's a few folks who only want me because I'm black, and it's like, ooh, I've never been with a black guy. But other than that, I'm pretty much, people just don't see me as attractive or worthy of spending time with or getting to know.
Do you, I hope you're not offended by this, I'm just being blunt. How much of that
Please.
is you just being awkward around guys, and how much of it are you projecting onto, like, your weight? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, some of it, especially when I was younger, could have been done with awkwardness. I don't quite know what you mean by projecting.
So it's a classic, I guess, they teach it in school and that kind of thing, regarding this issue of if you would draw a picture of yourself, chances are, from what you're talking about, you would draw yourself to be a lot bigger than you actually are. You know what I mean by that? And that's a normal thing for people that deal with body image issues. So that's what I mean by projecting, is maybe it's other things, but you're chalking it up to the body image stuff.
So it's not necessarily that I'm ugly, but I'm annoying?
I don't know if I'd put it that bluntly, but what do you think? Like, I don't know you well enough to know the answer to that. I'm just posing
if you really want to know what I think, it's basically those that can stand to be around me can't bear to look at me, and those that can get past what I look like can't stand to be around me. So, I think I'm pretty horrible on both looks and personality, but I've been told
what you're saying does sound traumatic, yes, but I get what you're saying. Like, I get where you're coming from. I get I don't.
But that's
I
how
don't hear it as. I don't hear it as you being dramatic. I hear it as frustration and verging on desperation.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
I mean, that's a hard thing to deal with too, because that comes from within you. Like, you can gain self-confidence from other ways, and it'll bleed into other parts of your life too. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you're kicking ass in school and that kind of thing, but I don't know. I don't know you well enough to know what gets you going, what gets you up in the morning. You know what I mean?
Gets me up in the morning is the thought of maybe today is the day I meet someone.
Sure.
Yeah, starting a
that's
family
a trick.
is literally my number one goal. To tell you the truth, like, that is bigger than anything else I do in my life. That is the number one thing I want. So meeting someone's up there. But I don't mean for this to turn into a therapy session.
I don't think that's a problem, though, because that's kind of what we're doing with this podcast, is we're sharing our insecurities in hopes that the listeners, will glean some inspiration or some knowledge from it. I'm sure you're not the only one. I can guarantee it that feels the same way.
Yeah.
And just because we don't necessarily have conclusions. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah. I've been kind of dominating this one.
Well, the question I had was, like, you talk about, like, kind of almost sounds like you flipped a switch. So, but I'm sure it wasn't quite that easy, right? So can you talk a little more about your journey from kind of struggling with your body image to taking ownership of it?
Yeah, I know exactly what it is. You need compliments. You know what I mean? You need to find someone that, even if it's not your quote-unquote partner, I mean, even if it's a woman, you know what I mean, tells you every day, you look very handsome today, Andre. It sounds really silly, but that works. It gives you that little boost of, okay, well, I'm not going to go sleep with her, but at least somebody does. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it has to, if you're going to, like, pick a girl, like I'm talking, like, it would have to be a close friend, someone that will give you a genuine compliment. Like,
of course.
Because there's always something that you can find to compliment someone. Their shoes, their hair, their glasses. I don't know. You, after I said hair, your picture came up.
But I know what you mean.
Yeah. There's always something to compliment about someone, and you need someone that's going to tell you that.
Well, listeners, I have an opening for daily complimenters. So applications are being accepted.
It is much better in real life, though. So I mean, it's.
I had
Go ahead.
I had a friend who said that to me just this week, and I wasn't expecting it, and it felt good, even though she's a girl.
Exactly.
Or a woman. Sorry, I couldn't say boys and girls a lot, but yeah, it's still a struggle, and I'm still looking for a reason to, I guess, invest in myself.
What do you mean by that, actually? A reason to invest in yourself?
Well, it's kind of like going back to the losing weight thing, right? Like, in the fall, I worked out, 3 to 4 times a week for a good month and a half, and I was on a pretty regiment diet, and I was sticking to it for 2 months, and I just didn't see a reason to stick with it. Like, it's a lot of work, and I didn't feel like it was worth it. Same thing now.
Right.
I'm seeing a dietitian, and it's like, well, I know what I'm supposed to be doing, but I don't really feel like it's worth doing it, and I just don't quite see a reason to invest in myself to put the work in to do it.
Sure.
Like, I want to lose weight, but I also would rather enjoy life than not. So,
right.
I
think there's 2 issues there. One, I mean, losing your motivation, I mean, that's why no one ever keeps their New Year's resolutions. You know what I mean? It's the middle of March, and do you have any New Year's resolutions you keep? I doubt many of the listeners do. I don't. So, I mean, that's a normal thing that every human does. But for more specific to you, you need to see that progress. You know what I mean? And it's a slow thing, especially because you're looking at yourself in the mirror every day. You probably get on the scale every day, and you see it fluctuate because that's, what body weight does. And so that can be very demotivating. Add on top of that you don't really get any extra attention from boys because, of other issues.
Well, actually, I have no idea what I weigh because my dietitian doesn't show me. She told me not to weigh myself. So,
she did?
I know I'm making progress, but I just have a vague idea because I have a vague idea of where I started, and I know how much I've lost. So I have a vague idea of what I weigh, but I haven't seen an actual number since November, I think.
I mean, the amount that you lost is the important part to me. That's a good motivator for me whenever I'm trying to lose some pounds is, you see, well, okay, it only took a week to lose that pound, so next week it'll be even better, and the next week. So, I mean, weighing myself helps. It doesn't hurt. But then again, I hesitate to give that advice to you because your nutritionist is also, they're better on this issue than I am. Yeah. But for me, it helps to weigh myself.
I know for me it won't help. So
I get it.
I do know that.
Is it because the number is shocking or?
Shocking in that I don't like what it is, but I mean, it didn't happen overnight, so it's not surprising.
Sure.
Just disappointing.
Sure.
And it can feel overwhelming, and hopeless. And I guess I just don't really have the wherewithal or the resiliency to get past that right now, because I don't see much point in getting past it right now.
So you bring up a very, very good point so someone trying to lose, I'm not sure how much you would like to lose, but let's say 60 pounds, 100 pounds, it doesn't even matter. That is so much different than someone that just, I want to lose 4 pounds so I can fit into this dress. You know what I mean? That's so much different. And it's so much, going back to the motivation factor, you see, okay, I lost a pound in a week. That's great. If I'm losing 4 pounds, I'm a quarter of the way there. But if you're losing 100 pounds, you're 1% of the way there. And, it was a miserable week. You were hungry. You worked really hard. You're sore. You're tired. You can't, you're telling yourself, I can't do that for 100 more weeks. So I get that, dude. I do.
But thank you for listening, Therapist Bruce.
Anytime, my man. That's why I'm here. So do we have any nuggets we can leave our listeners with before we sign off?
By nuggets, you mean suggestions?
Yeah.
In which case, I would say, don't be afraid to seek out help. I know we've talked about mental health before on this show, and we'll do it again. I see a therapist. I see her fairly regularly. I just saw her yesterday, actually, and we had a nice long chat about this, which I guess is part of the reason why I was so open about it. I just spent, an hour yesterday reflecting on it. But, I'm seeing a dietitian through Student Health. Most places have a county or a city health department that offers free or cheap health services. So you can go there. They either have a mental health clinician on hand, or they can connect you to someone with a sliding scale to keep it cheap. And if you're someone who has decent health insurance, then take advantage of that and go see an actual therapist, go see a therapist. And a lot of businesses even offer call-in services. So you can call in and get your first kind of few sessions over the phone, and they can refer you to someone in your community so they can have a more time clinician.
I'd also like to point out real quick before we sign off that, so we've been talking a lot about losing weight and body image issues of someone who is a little heavier than they want to be. But that's certainly not the extent of the issue. There are folks who want to gain weight. There are folks with disabilities. So even though we just covered, the small, narrow part of it, if you're dealing with other issues related to your body image, seek help. Not that sounds bad, but you can ask for help. It's okay. It's a normal thing that people go through. Whether your issues are, no matter what they are, everybody needs help sometimes.
Yes. Well said.
Thank you.
And we'll definitely be visiting this topic again, and talking about disabilities and all sorts of different ways, different identities that can impact ours. So.
And speaking of therapists, on Friday we have a conversation with Dr. Ron Holt. Be sure to come back and see that. Dr. Holt is a very interesting fella.
AKA the LGBT shrink.
Yeah.
So it's very exciting to have him on here.
Absolutely. I am excited for our listeners to hear that episode. But for now, just one more piece of business, right? Trivia question.
Yes. So, non-binary queer plus-size model, Haley Mandel, is a part of what fashion initiative, Bruce?
Do you want to tell them? You're really passionate about it.
You tell them. I think
Okay.
I think it'd be good for you to tell them.
Okay. It's a 67% project, which is a joint initiative with lifestyle brand Refinery 29, Lane Bryant, and Getty Images to create an equitable sampling of stock images portraying women who are size 14 or higher. And women who are size 14. So the name comes from the 67%. So 67% of American women are actually size 14 or higher.
They're shining a light on the fact that most 2/3 of American women and just women who are 14 and larger worldwide just don't see themselves in generic images, like stock images are supposed to be generic life. So they're hoping to change that. And Haley Mandel is actually one of the lingerie models and is in more the adult side of the stock photos. And they have families and they have just women being women. And the fact that they have, a non-binary model reflective and not just going after stereotypical women that are size 14 or larger, but it's all kinds of women with all kinds of body types and all kinds of presentation, to try to get, again, a more equitable representation of the female body, the more feminine physique and whatnot.
Perfect. Andre,
So,
I appreciate how open you are about this topic and how passionate you are. I appreciate you talking with us and, talking about this. And I'm sure we'll revisit it in the future.
Even if it's hard, right?
It does. It does. And you are, that's so cliche, but you are beautiful.
Oh, thanks. You're beautiful, too. Yeah.
Thanks.
That's so beautiful.
Okay.
That's so beautiful. And you're beautiful, too, dear listeners. Everyone's so beautiful.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening.
Until next time.
Have a great day.
Bye, y'all.